watching Angry Video Game Nerd.
Angry video game nerd, is that what you said?
You remember the guy that was yelling at Ninja like, your poopy head?
Oh,
You want to say about it? Yeah, he actually has a whole entire channel about him reviewing video games.
oh, that's funny, baby. So are you back yet?
No, I'm probably going to leave pretty soon, though.
Oh, you're going tonight?
Yeah, literally in a couple minutes or so.
Wow. But yes, I do have your backpack.
Okay, just making sure.
How come?
Because I remember taking it into my dad's car.
No, well, so no, you had left it in Grandma's car.
Oh, that sucks.
But then so she came and dropped it off yesterday afternoon. So, that's all good. I have it. Okay, baby. Well, hey, I miss you so much.
I miss you too.
Have you had an enjoyable time, Phil?
Yeah, I had shrimp and rice for dinner.
No way. I wish I could have shrimp and rice.
Yeah. What the heck?
What?
Oh, nothing. I'll show you the video eventually.
Okay. Silly boy. Alright, big boy. Well, I will let you go, but if you want to call me at any point, call me, okay, baby?
Okay.
Okay, pumpkin, I love you.
Love you too. Bye.
Have a good night. Mwah.
Bye.
Bye, baby boy.
Bye, Mom.
You should be able to see both hands.
First of all, how's that even X-Men? That is not X-Men!
He's jerking off. That's what I call a video game cover. Pretty good video for Christmas Day, huh? I give you X-Man for Xmas. Triple Xmas. A woman getting ready to show her tits. A guy with his hand down his crotch. It's filthy, but you wouldn't want it any other way, would you? Merry Christmas, you filthy animals.
Nice. He quoted the movie from Home Alone. And that means... Wait a minute. There was porn games for Atari? What? Like,
you've never seen it?
no! Like, I don't think there's even porn games.
It's just like a cat guy in a cowboy hat.
Oh, Alien 3 sucked. Actually, Alien 3 wasn't really too bad of a game, but...
Yeah, he does Earthbound, actually.
Oh, that's funny.
Kid, one of my favorite series of children's books is The Berenstain Bears. It's also an edition by every generation. It began publishing in the 60s and continues to the present day.
That's cool.
It's about a family of bears living like an ordinary human family with common problems to overcome, like sibling quarrels and pressure of an overly busy schedule. Often it focuses on some kind of moral lesson, like don't pollute, don't eat too much junk food, and don't watch too much TV. Other times it's just about a part of growing up, like going to school, going to the doctor, or getting fucking murdered by an evil bear with a chainsaw. Holy shit, this is the craziest book cover they ever did. They had their share of spooky stories, and it would be fun to read them, but I'm here to talk about the video games.
What?
Most people probably don't know there existed games based on the Berenstain Bears, and I gotta admit, neither did I. So my expectations are very low. They can't disappoint too much. Right? First, let's check out...
I feel like sometimes he was born with that frown on his face.
Original Game Boy or the Super Game Boy Super Nintendo.
6 or 7.
Very good that
Oh, that's cool.
So the concept is simple. Basically, it's a bunch of
That's
sporting
cool.
events, like here's Brother Bear in a canoe, but it looks more like the bullshit man with a giant hairy Q-tip. Dirty because, well, you can imagine. There's also sledding, bike riding, and skateboarding. You race against the clock and try to pull off tricks without falling on your ass. The courses all play the same way, basically, and they go by quick. You could experience the whole game in less than 10 minutes. It's even more basic than Skate or Die. In fact, it makes Skate or Die look like one of the Tony Hawk games. This would have been alright if it was released on the NES in 1986, but it was released in 2000. Late 2000. The graphics, Those bright, solid colors, they burn into your eyes. The sledding stage is so white, I bet if you stare at it long enough and then look away...
Yeah, it's kind of hurting my head just looking at it.
Sorry. 23 years of innovation gives us this. Yeah, you hear that? That's the distinct sound of bike tires grinding over a wooden bridge. Let's get the whole family involved. That's right, the whole Bear family get in the line and hug each other as they spiral down the slope. Well, after all, it is extreme sports. This has got to be crazy, right? Whoa! It's a bunch of bears spinning around on a raft. They're falling off the raft. It's pretty extreme here. If this qualified as extreme sports, I want to see the bears in a spaceship, shooting an atom bomb through a basketball net. I want to see them riding through a lava river with robot cobras and nuclear sharks, passing footballs to electric tornadoes. That's extreme sports. Yeah, this game's extreme, alright. Extremely shitty. Speaking of primitive, let's go backwards in time. You know they made a Berenstain Bears game on Atari 2600?
What?
It's pretty interesting because... Whoa, wait a minute. Berenstain? They totally fucked up the spelling. Anyway, what makes this game interesting is that it was made specifically for the sound...
Oh my god, you ever heard of Mandela effect?
...that connects to the Atari.
There's all these people that are saying all this shit, like, because there's like this large group of the population, which I think it's just a lot of people don't realize they're having false memories. But all these people want to say, someone went back in time and changed that! Because that makes more sense than having to admit I'm an idiot and I can't remember everything.
Yeah, I thought it was Berenstein for a long time, or, you know, I still say Berenstein.
See, and I've always remembered it as Brenstein Bears, right? Isn't that how it is? Brenstein?
The Smurfs and Berenstain Bears. It was made by Coleco in 1983. It worked in a completely different way than the Intelliviz. The obvious difference is that it used cassettes. It was a crafty way at getting high-quality audio with voice and song to accompany your game, but it was more than just an audio player. It connected to the second controller port, acting somewhat like a controller. The cassette tape contained signals which interacted with the game.
The bugs keep falling on the ground. The glue that holds them can't be found. So come on, kids, and stick around.
Each cartridge contained 3 different games. Each game had its own cassette. You choose whichever cassette you want to play, and that triggers the corresponding game. From that point on, the audio instructs you on what to do. When the colors don't match, don't ever appear. With the red button, you go here. Making the Smurf kiss in the cup, the game sends a signal back to the cassette player to advance the tape. Way to go, congratulations. Make us be one of many standing ovations. To be honest, it actually works. Meaning it does what it's supposed to do. I wonder if anything would happen if you put a fucking Slayer tape in there. The gameplay is as simple as you can get. No matter which of the 3 cassettes you use, it's basically the same thing. You're trying to catch the correct numbers or letters out of a tree. There's the big number hunt, the great letter roundup, and the spooky spelling bee. And after all, it is Halloween.
The bear went out on a spooky night. He prayed for the moon to give him light.
It sure looks like a spooky night, doesn't it? The grass is green, the trees are lively. It's the same graphics as the other 2 games. How is this supposed to be spooky? Not even the words are spooky, like mom, dad, ball, dog. How do you know numbers?
9 spell 9.
The closest that comes to spooky is maybe cat.
The first word is cat. Spell cat.
But you gotta love the quasi-Boris Karloff impressions.
Isn't sound as it pushing foots around.
Bela Lugosi
The next word to spell is number 4.
and Peter Lorre.
You can hit it, bounce it, punch it, kick it around. Ball.
Speaking of balls, this game sucks. Well, here's another one on Sega Genesis. The Barons... Hang the fuck on. That can't be the correct spelling. I know for a fact it was Berenstein with an E, not an A. Actually, the most likely pronunciation would be Berenstein, since it was spelled the same way like Frankenstein. But everybody I ever met says Berenstein. I can prove the spelling because I have one of the books. Yeah. So as you can clearly see, it's spelled Berenstain. Must be a new edition. Why'd they change the spelling? I know it used to be Berenstein because the author's real names were Stan and Jan Berenstein. I guess I was wrong. My whole childhood was wrong. Anyway, the Berenstain Bears camping adventure.
Maybe he did that because he wanted to reference it. So wait, they are saying it's Stain, S-T-A-I-n.
Papa Bear is fine with it, pretty much.
I swear it was Berenstein.
I always said Berenstein.
They're all your typical side-scrolling action.
I don't ever remember actually looking at any of the spelling.
Yeah, it's definitely something I can't say I ever remember looking at the spelling.
You can get some weapons like rocks, but man, do the rocks blow. How are you supposed to hit anything when it goes in an arc? It's just like the rocks in Friday.
That's interesting though, because like it makes me think like, what if there is some time travel paradox thing that happened and like it was not at all related, but it was just something stupid, like the one thing that changed was that spelling of that family's name through history, and like what if some of us have brains that are still like allocated to the original paradox, you know?
Yeah, I've done that one too, haven't I? It's just a shitty habit.
There's like a Star Trek episode or something.
Have you watched the?
Conveniently works out.
But the creepiest thing,
Yeah, something like that.
isn't even on this stage.
Dude, that's so much, or at least in the next generation.
They freak me out.
Somebody's like, oh, we come across a time anomaly.
Yeah.
It's completely different than the other time.
It's been a while since I've watched a lot of Star Trek Next Generation episodes, but last time. What?
Holy shit! I think it's a glitch. Do you think it's a glitch? I think it's a glitch. This is the mother of all glitches.
What the hell?
Sonic 2, all the Sonics have that same glitch all over the place.
You can even intentionally do it. One of my favorite things to do on Sonic the Hedgehog 1 is up C, down C, left C, right C, A, start. And then it went into debug mode.
Oh, yeah. You could, I did that.
Just morph into any character you wanted and then make millions of copies.
Yeah, on 2 you could morph into any of the objects on the stage and like place them in wherever you wanted in the stage and theoretically like make your own stage.
Are you sure? Or if not 2 had that effect then too, because you could do that on 1.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It was so, but yeah, like yeah. So and it's like you said, it was almost like a Mario Maker kind of effect when you did it. But what's funny is like some of the options were even like the in-between animation of how they looked when they get blown up.
Yeah.
So you could even just make, and there would just be like these, they wouldn't do anything, you couldn't interact with them, but on the screen there'd just be like this flashing like half blown up animation. Just did it. One of my favorite things to do was make like as many copies as you possibly can of rings in one spot. So then you touch it and it would go.
Exactly. I'm playing the game. It's hell. Same thing. Now wait. You're in the past, you're in another dimension, and you're in hell too? Yeah, but it's the hell of this dimension. Whoa. Once you get into sub-dimensions and shit, it gets complicated. But look, there's no time to explain all that right now, because if we end up talking too long, the 2 dimensions might end up swapping, and we don't want that to happen. So it's best you hit reset. Okay? Yeah, so just go back to that game, whatever it is. Berenstain Bears. Oh, you mean Berenstein Bears? No, apparently it's Berenstain. Well, Berenstain is how I always remembered it, but in my dimension, it's actually spelled Berenstein. Anyway, bye now.
That's funny. That was pretty good.
No. That's impossible. That didn't happen.
So was that the joke that he's the one who caused the Bernstein Bears spelling to swap? That's great how he's thinking something that's relevant.
Berenstain Bears conspiracy theory. It's on the internet. That means it must be real. Mandela effect. False memories are proof of a parallel universe. Some people think it had to do with time travelers setting off the butterfly effect, but no matter what the theory, everybody remembers Berenstein. I'm not alone. Faulty memory is one thing, but how could so many people be wrong? I know it was Berenstein. I saw what I saw, and the only way to prove it is with my own childhood books.
That's really cool though too, because that's what it's all about, making media that's relevant to contemporary times. That's why South Park's done so well.
But I'm sure those books are still in the attic.
See, and I know I had a Berenstein book, but apparently it doesn't matter because even if I do go back and find an original, it's gonna say Stain. Because either we're all having a really weird false memory at the same time, or shit did get changed, and we're remembering it otherwise.
I wonder how the people pronounce it. And like, did they ever like come out and be like, it's Berenstain? Like correct people when they said Stein. Or Steen.
And the truth. That's one of their actual books too. It's just weird too because I do feel like I also have a memory.
I remember the torn page, the mustard mark, the shit stain. It was spelled stain. It was spelled Berenstain. Spelled Berenstain. It was spelled Berenstain. You shouldn't have come here. Get away. Now! I was just trying to prove the Berenstein Bears were spelled with an E. I know. So it's true. It's true in your native universe. What? Go. There's no time to explain. Give me the quick version. I need answers. Then I'll go. There exist four universes with infinite little minor differences. The universe you come from, it was spelled Steen. At some point between your childhood and now, you and a lot of other people unknowingly crossed over into this universe where it is spelled Stain. That's only one example of many other things that people blame on bad memory. So they aren't my childhood books. They are, but they're your childhood books from this universe. The ones you remember are still in the other universe. These undetected interdimensional crossovers happen all the time. Nothing can truly get into our childhoods. It's all different now. Like Ninja Turtles on NES. Admit it, you liked that game as a kid. It wasn't until you grew up. Your mind was full of shit. Did you ever think maybe it was good? You didn't change.
He reviews that game too. It's pretty good. One of the originals. It deserves a Angry Video Game Nerd video. That game.
Yeah.
Turtles War.
I mean, it's like, it's so awesome because it's such a shitty game though, too. Like, beating it is such an accomplishment.
Billy isn't even a real name. We all know it's Bimmy and Jimmy. No fucking way. I about those bears? Are you from the Steen or Stain universe? Neither. Now I've told you everything. You need to go. One last thing. Why are you here? I'm one of the rare individuals to find a way to hop between dimensions, to find the universe I came from. I want to go back, but it's all in vain. When two of the same person are in the same universe creates a paradox. The only way to restore balance, one of them has to die. I killed you. Holy shit. And I killed you again. And again. And again. But I'm done running. I'm here to be sacrificed. Sacrificed by who? The ones who will restore balance. If I don't myself, they're coming for me. Get out of here. Save yourself.
It's the Brent Steinstein Bears.
In my universe, it's not Berenstain or Berenstain. It's Bloodstain. These are the real bad news bears.
Stupid. That's freaking awesome, dude. I hella give props to him for that one. That is interesting because I don't know if you ever had that thought, but there was a few times where while I was sleeping in my bed, I almost felt like reality itself had flipped around. And like while I was laying there, and I thought it was just an effect of like my equilibrium and like being asleep and half asleep, half awake. But sometimes I often wondered if it was my mind actually detecting that my individual persona, as far as an individual persona can be, actually had shifted to another phase, and whatever other version of myself was in that other paradox or whatever shifted along with me. Like, we're all at the core one multi-dimensional being, but we still each exist on our own plane. So when one shifts, it's generally like a cog that has to shift all at once. So that's why if two are existing in the same place, it's almost like that's where reality's getting bent. And that's where it's like, if a piece of metal were to be folded upon itself, like, it's gonna come apart because metal's not meant to just like be malleable and bend in two different places, you know? So maybe that's why two can't exist in the same place by normal rules or whatever, but
I was trying to get that effect when I think about like being on Earth and how it's like round and like maybe I'm on like the bottom side of it. It's like we are upside down.
yeah. No, that's a cool one too. But yeah, I've actually often actually have thought, and sometimes I've thought, like, when I think of video game terms, like, what if sometimes I'm where I'm at right now because I actually did make choices that led me to my death, and I don't realize it, but when that version of myself dies, that part, like, goes away, but then you don't realize it, but, like, all your essence just goes into the version of yourself that didn't die. So, like, you don't realize you've been absorbed into another persona of yourself. Something like that. But yeah, I've had lots of thoughts of, like, maybe all the time we're all shifting into different planes of reality and we don't realize it, you know?
I can't believe the box actually says better than standard hand controllers. What were they thinking?
Let me try.
Streets of Rage 2.
Yes, that's my autobiography.
You're supposed to be able to use it with any game?
How about another one?
All right, let's open it.
Wow! All right. interactor. What the hell is that?
What is that here?
Virtual reality using electromagnetic actuator technology.
I think it's just because we grew up from all that time, but that shit's pretty hard to stop watching, actually. I think this is the bath. Cool. Yeah. I guess I wouldn't mind if staying in contact with Kylie, but I don't know. I guess I think at one point I just felt like she just went off on her own path and yeah. 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 Yeah, that's what I'm also hoping for through this is that I can get two training from. Probably could use a little more, but
No, it's just frozen.
that's awesome. Dude, that's freaking ideal. It's like the best possible. If I get that 832 training certification, then I feel like I could fucking.
Have the carbon in there too. I'm assuming that's animal control.
Oh,
Something.
well, not necessarily. 832 certified is like basically you took the first 2 weeks of police academy. It's literally the powers of arrest class of the police academy. Without taking the whole entire, I think it's like 6 weeks of the whole entire police academy seminar or whatever, you know. But so you learn like handcuff stuff and arm bars kind of stuff, take people to the ground, and then there's a lot of work on word of the law and spirit of the law, which I think is cool that they actually enforce and teach. The whole idea of like, just because that's the law doesn't mean you always have to enforce that part of the law. There's the whole idea of like, sometimes it's okay that people are breaking the law and you're not doing anything about it. Just, you know, time to place, and like, you're not there to give everybody a shit time because you can.
Do they do mass crashes and stuff too?
Well, I don't think for 832. Cause
They might have just added it. They were telling us about that and doing fire training and stuff. Like they made changes to the mass incident stuff and added mass incident stuff because that one dude in Florida like fucked up so bad or whatever.
That cop? Or wait, what are you talking about?
Yeah, that one cop in Florida like didn't do anything because like some kind of like when the school shooting is going down over there somewhere. It was like a big school shooting and like the cop fucked up and didn't like act when he was supposed to, or like aired on the side of the caution like way too much and like other people so curriculum and like added it to a bunch of like programs and stuff. Wow. Like, don't do that. You're the cop, get in there and fucking risk your life.
That's why you're getting...
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we should probably hit the old dusty trail. Good time is in it. Before it gets too later. Choke down my energy drink.
If you want to for some hot water here, you can like put some tea in a like thermos or something. Or if you got, you can put it back into that.
Yeah, I might still.
Some caffeine and shit.
Okay, yeah.
People wouldn't buy any tea.
Yeah, and I might have. Oh, should we right off? Right. I might have your big green thermos in my car still.
Oh yeah, I definitely need that back.
So, did you ask your mom about the document? You were sure you brought it in the car, weren't you? I know, it's just that's the whole reason I bought two in the first place. Just so we didn't have to share
I want to watch more James in the car.
I don't, though, on at least the first 30 or 40 minutes of, oh shit. Like, pretty much the main part of the 299. Google Maps said, should I go a different way?
No. No, I was just thinking for a second you were going like all the way down 299, which goes all the way to Humboldt, but that's where Sean and Clayton were going.
I see, yeah.
And that, yes, you do not get service.
Yeah.
But pretty much I get decent service from the top of Hatchet Mountain, which is like the big mountain on the way here to Reading.
Who you with, Verizon?
Track phone, like whatever's available.
See, but that's what's funny is sometimes track phone will get better reception than anybody else. It's like, what the fuck?
I think they have some kind of contract with them to use every single tower that's just
Don't forget that chapstick, Logan.
Future becomes obsolete.
Yeah.
Prepare the shields.
It makes me think, like, fuck, man, maybe that's who I should just be phoning with then.
Yeah, it's only, I would pay $25 every 2 months, which is basically like $12, $12.50 every 2 months. If you're heavy on data, then it's gonna cost more than that. But it's enough data to do what I want to do. It's like a gig and a half.
Well, I'm also financing these phones and doing the hotspot stuff and...
Yeah, I don't do anything but what the phone is like originally capable of. Everything that it's...
Yeah, I do a fuck ton of Pokemon Go.
Yeah. I mean, it's got a quad core and 2 or whatever gigs of RAM. Like, it's better than this computer. But
You can still use any phone on the network.
Yeah.
And the phones that they come out with are basically the same exact phones. You can usually still get S10s and whatnot. Or the Prime 10, whatever. It's still the same exact fucking phone. I don't know. I keep feeling like I'm choosing these networks because they're gonna be the ones that are gonna work the best. But then it keeps seeming like actually like Metro and T-Mobile and them like are gonna work better. I probably need to switch. I gotta finish paying shit off before I switch. I found out the hard way when I switched from AT&T to Verizon. When like I was basically told like, oh yeah, it's fine, yeah, and I still had like $200 or $300 worth of payments on my phone. And then like after I switched, they were like, oh, you have 90 days to pay off that phone, or else we're gonna send it to collections. And I was like, what? So that's something I warn people about now too. If you're not done paying off the phone, you switch networks.
yeah. I think they threatened to take me to collections before, like a long time ago, but it's definitely not on my record. Didn't show up when I was Dish TV really wants to do it today, though. I fucking had satellite at James' house, and I moved, and just like, you guys are gonna pay this, right? And then, Matt moved out, and I just forgot about it, basically.
And they just...
And James moved, so I don't know what exactly doesn't matter anymore, or I just don't think about it anymore. So it'll be like $500 or something like that.
Oh, that's stupid. But we'll just keep doing bills for him until it's so big that we'll finally turn it off.
Yeah. Well, plus the box, like the
Box is like $15 though or something, right?
No, not when you don't return it.
How much do they charge you for the box?
It was something like $500 or something bucks on the collection.
Oh, that's fucking retarded. There's no way that box is worth that much.
Yeah.
That's probably from that time and what they quoted, because last time I called someone and asked them about, because when his mom and I first got separated, she was paying all the bills, and I didn't realize it, but she had some bills like a month or almost 2 months behind, and she would just keep paying late, and so I paid them all off when I finally sat down and looked at it. But when I was talking to the satellite people, I remember them telling me that if I didn't return the box, then they would charge me for the box. But I could have swore they only said like $35 or $40 or something like that.
It's definitely not worth the shit.
Exactly. Yeah. Fuck them. That's just hilarious.
It was actually like some weird anomaly or something where like if I paid it off, it actually would have like been a detriment to my credit somehow. I forget how like he explained it, but it was like you don't want to pay that off.
Oh, so not only he was saying that specifically because
I don't know. I doubt there's any sort of like rule that's like that one was unjust, so it doesn't affect you. But I don't know. I can't remember if he did explain or if I just don't understand, but he's like, don't do it. It's actually won't be good.
Well, I was just gonna. As soon as you said that, it actually made me think. It's not showing up on your background on your credit check right now, maybe because they didn't send it to collections. And if you do go pay it off, it will then show as like late bill paid several years later.
Yeah.
Is what it sounds like almost. Because if they didn't send it to collections, it sounds like you're fucking scot free, which is fucking awesome. Yeah, or it's like only on their record. And I still have $240
Head southeast on North Vallejo Street toward California 299 East.
Did you sign up for the part of the class action lawsuit that Wells Fargo had to pay off or whatever?
Why?
Or not Wells Fargo. It was like some company like exposed ass loads of people's information for like credit checks or something. Like if you had a credit monitoring service, which a lot of banks, if you just have, like my bank, like just has one for free.
Yeah.
Like some credit monitoring company like fucked up royally and like let everybody's information out, so they got a court order like this like 100 million or like just a giant class action lawsuit and give everybody that was affected $200, and it's like a lot of people. In fact, there's so many. It's predicted that so many people are going to try to get in on the free money, or the $200 that like they're going to hit their limit for like what they had to pay for the fee because of how many people. So they start dividing it into thinner and thinner. So it might be less than $200, but they also offered credit monitoring, like security, basically for all the people that were affected for like 4 years or something, which is a pretty good deal if you're into like identity theft and protection and shit like that. But there's a good chance, like, did you have any sort of credit monitoring service with your banks, or like?
Not that I use.
Did they give you like a free credit score or anything like that?
I don't think I've ever used one from any of my banks.
Well, if any of them have them, like I've got Chase does it, I'm pretty sure like a lot of the banks have it too. You can actually like go to their class action like lawsuit, whatever, they'll tell you whether or not you were affected.
Yeah, I might have to check it out, but
$200 or free credit monitoring for 4 years.
Yeah, I might even take the free credit monitoring. I bet they just give it to anybody too, because they're like, not give you $200? There you go.
And then you have to like say like how you were affected or whatever. And I was just like, you guys messed up my credit score. They like type that in, or they like send you like a follow-up too, like a follow-up email, like, well, can you like do some kind of more proof? I can't remember what they had to put in some kind of information or some sort, or like another like explanation of some kind. But they try to kind of like make lazy people weed it out a little bit. Seems like I'll probably get like another notification. Do you want to opt out and do something else instead? Like it was, oh, bam, $200. Like I just sit down for like.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Yeah, let's go, bud. Get your stuff. Get your sandals, jackets. But doesn't worry about too much. I was gonna grab some of that tea stuff before we headed out. I have a cup in the car I forget, like, so you do stuff with the aluminum and everything, right?
Huh?
You said you take aluminum? I'll see this can here.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I have a cup in my car, so maybe it's better to use a cup, huh?
Sure.
I'm just gonna grab that real quick. Wait, let's take caffeine tea. Mate. Down quick because my heater's not kicking on. It's probably enough. This stuff's probably fine in here, right?
Maybe it got put in the
The general accepted form of currency in this square mile patch is water. Well, the entertainment you get from this puppy is more shallow than a puppy dog's piss puddle. You'd have a more stimulating time separating a pile of wanderers from rabbits. To make things even more tedious, every few seconds you have to go back under the water.
It's kind of funny to think about. Video games are a way for us to waste time, feel melancholy, I guess. It's just so crazy. I always think about in this era we're looking for ways to kill time because we're like bored. But like back in the day it was like, just need to eat and survive. Like for a long time. It's still only really recent that it's like really expected to just have all comfort features catered to you. A little bit of effort, Even to the point where you can literally take advantage of the system to get that. But doesn't always work out for everybody. Okay, we're good. You got your sandals, you got all your jackets over there.
It's one of those tiny orange submarines. Yeah, you know the kind that are smaller than people and have an unlimited supply of torpedoes? As soon as you're ready, you can fight Jaws. If you stay on the top of the water, Jaws can't hurt you, but you can't hit him either. It may be a glitch. I wouldn't be surprised. After you drain Jaws' energy, there's still one last part of the game, where you have to stab Jaws with the tip of the boat. It's like the fourth movie, Jaws the Revenge. You have to wait for him to be at the right spot. It seems like something that just happens out of pure luck. Ah, smile, you son of a... And that's all there is. there is to this game.
You're gonna need a bigger ass. Shit out this fucking turd.
Come on, Logan. Are you use trumpeting or are you gonna keep watching?
There we go.
Say goodbye to who?
Ram.
He's probably in there with Sarah because.
You got my shoes in the car? You have my shoes, right?
Yeah, I took your shoes.
Might be a little icy. I don't know. It's just cold, you know. But there's deer too, so yeah, go safe.
Yeah. I was even thinking that road is really windy on some of it, so just drive it slow. Yeah, because you tell the town president would have fun like it's supposed to be up. Do you want to play the Switch? Yeah.